How much stock do you put into preseason games? Sometimes we tend to accentuate the highs, make them more than what they were, and we kind of pass over and skirt by the lows. When someone does really well, we propel them to mythic proportions. But when they don't do well, it's only preseason. They have time to progress. So where do we draw that fine line in evaluating teams and evaluating players when it comes to preseason games, especially the first one? For me, I do not put much stock into it. I take the game as it is. I take the players and see them progressing, because this is the first time that these players actually going against someone outside of their own team. So of course you got the nerves, the jitters, especially with the younger players, especially with the rookies trying to get certain things out of their system. So if they make some mistakes, it happens. It's the first preseason game. This is what these games are all about. Finding out what you have in players, finding out what they need to improve on outside of going against seeing the same people each and every day. I've said this before, you learn tendencies when I'm going up against a player week in and week out. I get to learn his strengths, I get to learn his weaknesses, what things he likes to do and what moves that he likes to make. So over time, I can just cheat the system a little bit and beat that player. But when you're going up against a team schematically that is a lot different from yours, players with different movements, players with different skill types, this is when you truly get to see where you are, and then you watch the film and you try to improve. So for me, break down a little bit of what I saw from the Ravens 16-13 loss in the preseason to the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows, and it also wasn't doom and gloom. Like I've already stated, this was the first test, and it wasn't even the starters, it was the backups. We did have some starters sprinkled in here and there, but this is to get the young guys on that learning curve on how the NFL actually works, getting them game time experience, getting them into game time situations. And then a lot of times, a lot of the schemes and play calls are going to be really vanilla because they're just going out there trying to get acclimated. Coaches are trying to see what they're actually getting out of each and every one of their players, so they're not doing anything complex. They're just going out there, running some plays, see how this play design looks up against competition, see how the player movement is. It's no big deal. So in discussing this game, I'm going to give some of my highlights, some of my lowlights that I felt came from this game. And personally, these are the things that I saw. Your point of view may be totally different, but this is the things that I saw. Of course, we can improve on, especially going into game 2. But for me, one of the biggest things that I like to look at is the level of competition that you're going against. Now, if I go out there in a game and I'm playing against second and third stringers, yes, they are NFL players, I'm not going to be as high on myself as I would going up against a starter, going up against an all-pro, a pro bowler. If I can go and defeat him or come out evenly matched, I'm feeling good about myself. I'm going to feel good about myself either way, but going against guys that may not even make the team, I'm going to take these things into perspective. So jumping into the highlights of the things that I saw, the first thing and the thing that most people took out of this game was the play of first round pick cornerback Wiggins. Now, I don't know if I'm going to say this was otherworldly, but he did a great job for what he was assigned to do, for the people he was assigned to guard. He did his thing. They targeted him early on in the game, and he more than held his own. Now, this may be a glimpse of what is to come in the Ravens' future, hopefully, but I would like to see him do it against first stringers, some of the better wide receivers in the NFL. I want him to get that practice going up against some of the best, because as we say, iron sharpens iron. Now, he may get a little more of a test later on in the preseason going up against a different caliber of wide receiver, but those are the things that I'm excited for. And I'm not trying to diminish or take away from anything that young man did, because he did his job. Regardless if they put my uncle up against him and he shut him down, he guarded who he was supposed to guard, and he looked like the first round pick that the Ravens drafted. Hopefully a starter, maybe real soon. We don't know, but he did his thing. Next guy up for me had to have been Trenton Simpson. He came in to replace Patrick Queen. We thought it was going to be last year, didn't happen. Now this is his time to shine. This is his time to come in and take a hold of that linebacker spot opposite Roquan Smith. Now, the one thing that people noticed and that jumped off the screen, and it has since he's been drafted, is his speed. Just like Patrick Queen, he is a speedy player. He just needs to get a little more experience. And to me, I think he's been in his playbook and he understands the plays, and that allows you to play even faster than you would if you didn't know it. So for the limited time that he was out there, I think that he played pretty well. And hopefully this will be a positive for replacing some of what the Ravens have lost this past offseason. Next up, we have running back on right, the Maryland native. He went out there and he did his thing. He looked pretty good. He looked a little bit better than Rasheen Ali, but Ali's a rookie. Wright has been around the block a few times, so he knows what to expect a little bit more. But the question is he going to put a stranglehold on that running back 3 situation? Maybe jumping up to running back 2, possibly, until Keaton Mitchell returns, if Keaton Mitchell returns this season. I just think he had a burst and he hit the holes. But once again, don't get too high, don't get too low. We need to see them stack the plays. We need to see them stack the games and build upon it. But I know this young man is tired of moving around from team to team, practice squad to practice squad, and wants a roster spot. So I believe he's going to fight really hard, and he looked really good out there. Okay, you done took time out of your day to make it this far into the video. So apparently you are liking what you're seeing, hopefully. So if you do, make sure to hit that like button. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel to get more videos from your boy. So just go ahead and tap that button. All right, back to the video. Then we get to my man, Darius Washington. Darius Washington has been flashing all of the offseason. I think he's primed to take over a starting spot, especially that we are missing some pieces right now. The only thing with Darius is, can he stay healthy? When we drafted that young man a few years ago, I thought, hey, he may be on the smaller side, but he's not afraid to tackle. He is not afraid to put his nose in there, and I think that he's going to be a good player for us. The only thing is, can he overcome that injury bug? That is going to be the biggest question, because he's looking really good out there. He's looking good in practice. He's looking good in mini camp, so hopefully he can solidify a spot. Said last year he was gonna make the team. Some people was like, he ain't making it. He did, and I guarantee you that if he stays healthy once again, this may be the season that he takes that Geno Stone type leap. Now, he may not get 7 interceptions per se, but he's going to do a lot better, and he's going to be a pivotal part of this Ravens defense. Next up, we have Pepe Williams. Hey, what can you say? He played the game and he did not come out hurt, so he gets a thumbs up on that one. And last but not least, Roger Rosengarten. He had limited snaps in there, but he looked pretty decent while he was out there. They're just trying to ease him into the role. Hopefully, if he is the best option, he's going to get increased playing time through each game, and he is going to be the Ravens starting right tackle. As of right now, we do not know, but he did look pretty good in this game. Now, as we transition over to the lowlights, or the things that I thought weren't very pleasing in this game, it had to have been the offensive efficiency. Like I said before, plays are pretty generic, plays are pretty vanilla, but for the Ravens to have 82 yards rushing and 82 yards passing, that's not good for a game. I don't care if you have backups in, they had backups in. We had some starters in, or possible starters in the game. The Ravens should have done a little bit more than that. But one of the biggest concerns that came out of this game, and I guess I can't even say came out of this game, and it has been all off season, Josh Johnson being the backup quarterback. Devin Leary, I don't think that he's ready. Could he be something? We don't know. But Josh Johnson has pretty much started most of OTAs and most of minicamp. So he has gotten a share of these starters reps in practice, but he still does not look good going into this first game. I don't know if the Ravens see this as a concern, knowing that if Lamar Jackson goes down, this team has no chance in winning. But it is the first game. Hopefully he can progress and get better. I don't think that he will, because he's had all off season to show what he can do, and he's just not getting it done. But we shall see. The next thing that might be right up there with the lack of offensive performance was the lack of penetration by the defensive line. Now, Broderick Washington and Travis Jones is out there, 2 starters, and the Ravens just could not seem to get any push or stop the Philadelphia Eagles from running the ball. Once again, first game, but I would expect starters going up against some backups to do just a little bit better job. And alongside with that, the lack of a pass rush. Now, I know that we were missing some people. There were some guys that were supposed to play. They didn't play because they were either injured or just unavailable, not cleared by doctors. So the penetration by the defensive line and the edge not getting any rush or putting any heat on the quarterback may be a concern. But once again, first game, when we get the starters in there, this may be a completely different situation. But we have to think throughout the season in case somebody gets hurt, or during game time situations when your starters have to come out and the backups have to come in, will they be able to get the job done? This may possibly signal a turn in the Ravens, especially if it happens later this week in the next preseason game, that EDC is going to be like, look, something ain't looking right, and he's probably going to make a move to bring in another pass rusher. Maybe. They figured that it worked for them last season. It may possibly work for them once again. Now, the next thing I'm a little bit conflicted on. It is John Harbaugh's decision to have Nate Wiggins in the game in the second half. This is the part of the game where Nate Wiggins got injured. We don't know the extent of his injury, even though they said it was not that serious. He did have a minor sprain to his AC joint. Now, we know Harbaugh to be a liar, and he says things about injuries that just aren't true. So the reason I'm conflicted is, he shouldn't have been in during that juncture of the game. But then again, you do want your rookie cornerback to go out there and get as many reps, get as much game experience as possible. So that's where I'm conflicted at. It's of like, do you leave him in? Do you take him out? Because he's going to have to play at some time. He's going to have to get that experience somewhere, and injuries can happen on any play. So to me, I don't know. I might have to rethink that. But for a player that started off so well, this just ain't sitting right with a lot of people. And last but not least, y'all boy, Daniel Faalele. It's not looking good for you, boy. Like, he's not working out at right tackle. He's not working out at guard. Understandably, new position for him. He's learning it on the fly. He's being asked to do some things that he may not be used to doing, or he may not at this moment feel comfortable doing. But we don't know if this experiment is going to work. So what are you going to do with Ben Cleveland? But just for this game right here, Faalele, he is just not getting it for me. So hopefully come day one, when we go to play the Chiefs, Faalele is not in that starting unit and hopefully learning throughout the season. Now, could he be the left guard of the future? We really don't know. But as of right now, he's not it. But once again, it's game one. Game one. That's why I'm so calm, because it's still some time. We still have 2 games left. 2 games left to see what these guys have. We have tons of practices, tons of reps for these guys to go to and improve on their craft. So right now, I'm not worried about it. These are just my observations of what is going on at this moment. And of course, John Harbaugh, being the coach and being a politician that he is, he's very proud of this offensive line. He thinks that Daniel Faalele has played very well up until this point. Now, guys that have been reporting and seen outside of the organization's eyes say that Faalele just ain't getting it. I think I read something yesterday that said, I'll be surprised if Faalele even makes the team. I'm not going that far with it, but for someone who reports on the Ravens that they have doubts that this young man is going to make the team, that says a lot about his play that they see during these practices. Now, I only see him when he comes on TV, so I can't speculate. But for those people to say that, it says a lot to me, and it says that he is not progressing the way that some people think that he should. But once again, to me, his first year, he's transitioning. I was actually happy when the Ravens drafted him, but you know, I got caught up in the 6'8", 6'9", 300 something pounds, big, tall dude, strong. I felt like he was going to be a good fit, but apparently that only worked in college when you can manhandle kids. Now the Ravens are back onto practice, and this is going to now be a battle of attrition. I guess the Ravens are now starring in last man standing, because now we are starting to get hit with a rash of injuries. Things are just coming. Pause. Dudes just keep going down. We don't know the severity of them, but we have more and more guys not making it to practice. And the latest one of all is Kyle Hamilton. I believe he got injured today, where he has something with his lower extremities that he injured. It is said not to be that serious, but we don't know. And he is one of the few. He is one of the maybe 3 pieces on defense that the Ravens can not afford to lose. So hopefully he gets a speedy recovery, because with him and Nate Wiggins out, this is not looking good. We already know without argument the Ravens had the best and deepest secondary throughout the NFL, but let's not test the reaches of that depth so early in the season. And to go along with them, like I said earlier, David Ojabo, he was not cleared to play. He felt ready to play, but the doctors did not clear him, so we don't know what his situation is. Disa Isaac, they say he's ramping up his practice reps, but he has not been in the game. He's coming off an injury, so we don't really know his status right now. Cornerback TJ Tampa is dealing with a sports hernia, and he's recovering, so we don't know or have a timetable for his return. You know, we got the issue with Tyler Linderbaum. That's why we're trying to get Ben Cleveland up to speed, just in case something happens with Linderbaum. Another piece on offense we really can't afford to lose. And then there is Rashard Bateman, who missed his 3rd straight practice. He supposedly has a minor injury, not that serious, but he's missed practice. He missed the first preseason game. We don't know when he's coming back. And then Tez Walker is dealing with a rib injury, so he may be limited going forward. And with those injuries, the Ravens made a subsequent move of signing Russell Gage and bringing in Anthony Miller. Now these two may just be camp bodies until the starters heal up. Don't know, because we honestly don't know the severity of these players' injury. Hopefully from now on, going forward, the Ravens don't deal with any more setbacks, because this team is just losing players, it seems like, every 2 or 3 days. And we need to get some of those players back, because this Saturday at noon, the Ravens take on the Atlanta Falcons. And some of these guys need to come in and get some reps. Adisa Isaac, he's a rookie. He needs to come in and learn the speed of the game. Don't want to rush them back, but they do need to come in and get some work. For me, I would love to see Lamar Jackson play, because being that Lamar Jackson has consistently been around, he's no longer ill, he's ramping his game up. And from all reports, Lamar Jackson and his deep ball are improving as well. He's going out there and slinging the ball deep. There were two issues that we, or at least I, had with Lamar Jackson in the past. It was his deep ball frequency, his deep ball accuracy, and his anticipatory throws. Now he's working on all of these aspects of his game, and apparently the deep ball is working. Outside of hands of stone, dropping passes, and if you don't know who that is, it's Nelson Aguilar. But I think that the one disservice that is happening is Rashad Bateman is not there to work on that chemistry, because even when Bateman was in the game and he was healthy doing his thing, he and Lamar somehow struggled to connect on deep passes. I think this time is valuable for them to build that connection, build that chemistry. Because for some reason, Rashad Bateman refuses to go to Florida. I don't know if he has a warrant out. I don't know if he got somebody looking for him. It's a couple ladies on his tail down there, but he don't want to go and work out with Lamar Jackson in Florida. So this is the time that's needed for them to build that connection. And I would love to see a series or two, not too much, because once again, we just had problems with injuries, but I would love to see them two get on the field versus the Falcons, who have a good defense and have a great defensive-minded head coach, just to see what they can dial up on a series or two, nothing too much, in rest for the third preseason game. But there are just some things and some units that we have to get corrected before the season starts. I don't want to go into week one of the NFL season saying, all right, do we feel good about this offensive line? Do we feel good about this grouping together? All right, these wide receivers, Lamar, you good? Y'all chemistry all right? Y'all cool? I don't want to see that come game one and then we're practicing to get where we need to be. This is the time that we're supposed to be practicing and getting better. So hopefully we get to see all of the guys, we get to see a starting unit together real soon. All right, that's it for today's video. Hopefully I will see you guys come back and click on my next video, or just click on the video right here.
Nah, man, I'm cool.